Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who endowed us with superior minds with which we know Him, and equipped us with perfect bodies with which we worship Him, and awoke the hearts with consciousness of Him. Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whose grace and giving are never ending. He provides for us while we are undeserving, and gives us even when we are not asking Him. Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whose mercy and rizq are not seasonal, but continue to shower down on us and envelop us from His divine love. My dear brothers and sisters, we bade farewell to the month of Ramadan but 2 or 3 weeks ago, and prayed for its repeated return during our lifetimes. Many experienced highs of Iman, peaks of worship during the blessed month. But many of us struggle to see any lasting impact of that worship, of that tahajjud, of that recitation of Qur'an, of that dhikr, of that i'tikaf as well, of the lecture series which we listen to in person or online. And so, to put it accurately, those good qualities have not become part of us. So we must understand this reality, that our minds are divided into 2 parts, a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. The subconscious mind being the part of us which controls the system, controls our bodies, our digestion and our breathing and our heartbeat, and also controls our behavior. To the vast majority of our behavior, it operates it. And this is like the software which has been installed over years and years of repetition of the same actions and behaviors, which then becomes part of your subconscious mind. And then this is what settles into the heart, defining your very character, your khuluq. And what you do, it's what you do. Without thought, without deliberation, without debate, without planning. It is what becomes you automatically. Your automatic responses are dictated, are decided, are operated in your subconscious mind. Then there is the conscious mind, and this is where information enters and is stored. Every lecture you've ever heard, every bayan you've ever sat in, every verse of Qur'an you've heard or you've recited, where does it go? It goes there into the conscious mind. And so when people want to become pious and good and start praying, and what's the first thing that they do? They say, they enroll onto courses. They start attending a lesson. They start to read more Qur'an. They start to perform more dhikr, read more books. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, of course. But where does that knowledge go? It goes there. It's stored in that conscious mind. So what is the problem then? The problem is that the software which runs the system, our subconscious mind, may be dominated by a host of evil programs, evil applications. It is what is in control, what we have knowingly or unknowingly installed over many years, maybe since childhood, from arrogance and pride and a foul mouth, addiction to pornography, to drugs, to alcohol, jealousy, anger, laziness, abuse. These are the things that have made their way in over repetition for years. Again and again we repeat the same practices. So no matter how many lectures we listen to, no matter how many khutbahs we attend, no matter how many khutbahs even we give on sincerity and humility, if pride is in the heart, if pride is installed within the heart, then that program is what will run. It will operate the system. And whatever settles in the heart, dear brothers and sisters, whether it is good or bad, dictates all of our behavior. And this is the meaning of the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أَلَا وَإِنَّ فِي الْجَسَدِ مُضْغَةً إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبُ. Indeed, there is a piece of flesh, a morsel in the body, which if it is pure, if it is good, then the whole body is good and pure and reformed. وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ, and if it is corrupt, then the whole body is corrupt. Indeed, it is the heart. This gives us an idea of the power of the subconscious mind. So, why have the grand gestures of i'tikaf, of khatm, many khatms after the other during the month of Ramadan, Umrah, Hajj, Sadaqah? Why have these grand gestures? Why have they not changed me? First, we must understand the problem. Knowledge enters the conscious mind and it remains stored as a memory unless you apply it and install it. Such as an operating system on your computer. You're running an old operating system and then you download the new one. Until you have installed it, what will operate the system? What will operate your computer? That old operating system. And so we are human. And as human beings, this body is the hardware. The software, dear brothers and sisters, is what we have installed within us into our subconscious mind. If you stream a movie on your TV, an action movie, and you expect to see Mecca and Medina, well, what have you put into the TV? What is running you? That is what every one of us must ask themselves. What is running us? It may be pride and arrogance, it may be jealousy, it may be hatred, it may be a stinginess, miserliness, but all of the good stuff is just stored in our memory. If you're hungry and you take food and you store it in a bag next to your waist, then that will never fill you. Yes, it's not useless. Of course it's not useless, because when you become hungry and you wish to eat, you can take and you can fill yourselves. You can fill yourself. But storing it in that bag in and of itself does not fill you up. And so many people may go to the imam, may go to the sheikh, may go to people of piety or people of knowledge and tell them that they want to become better Muslims, but sometimes they're not helped because all they're doing is giving them more knowledge to store into their subconscious minds, into their conscious minds rather. Salah is good, dhikr is good, sadaqah is good, volunteering is, all of these things are good, but how do we install them? So you may receive an update on your phone. You receive an update on your phone. That update is useless until you install it. Because until you do, there will remain those bugs on your phone. Now, the update and the old software are both on your phone at the same time, but they are stored in different compartments. And this is the same case with us. This is something I hope from my brothers and my sisters that they all understand. We all want to update ourselves. Everybody wants to become a better person, a better husband, a better wife, a better parent. Everybody wants to become a better friend. Everybody wants to become a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a righteous, pious, virtuous Muslim. Yes? But all of that want from the knowledge is stored in a compartment called the conscious mind. And what is actually running the system is in the subconscious mind. Because it has yet to be translated, yet to be installed. And so that is why even a scholar can be the furthest from Allah. Because the knowledge in and of itself does not avail. Shaitan knows more than everyone on earth put together. And that knowledge does not help him. We talk about Jannah, he has been there. We talk about the angels and the prophets, he's seen every prophet. But that knowledge has not been installed. Rather, shaitanic arrogance has been stored into his subconscious mind. You can have a kitchen full of food, but unless you eat, you will remain hungry. And this is why, if you have, for example, just one apple, one bit of bread, it will suffice. You will survive. You will progress. That is why we see illiterate Muslims. Why do they progress to the pleasure and closeness of Allah? Because whatever they know, the little they know, they apply immediately. They have installed immediately. Whereas people with grand titles and PhDs in this and that, in fiqh and tafsir and hadith and all of the sciences, maybe he doesn't attend jama'ah in the masjid. So where has that, there is knowledge, but what has been done with that knowledge? Now, of course, there are qualities which Allah has instilled within us, and we have played no part of our own in attaining them. such as the bravery of Umar radiallahu anhu, and Ali radiallahu anhu, and Khalid ibn al-Walid radiallahu anhum ajma'in. Their bravery. But the majority, dear brothers and sisters, of our qualities, of our software is not off the production line, if you like, but it's customized by us. And this is why the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he was so impressed by Ashaj Abdul Qais, he said to him, indeed, inna fika khaslatayn yuhibbuhum Allah, al-hilm wal-ana. You have two qualities which Allah loves. In another narration, Allah and His Messenger love. Al-hilm wal-ana. You have clemency, forbearance, deliberation. Yes? And ana like deliberation, that he's patient, he takes his time in making decisions. And so what did he say? Are these two qualities, did I earn them or were they instilled in me? So he understood that there is a difference. He said, rather, Allah instilled them within you. And so he said, Alhamdulillah, he praised Allah that Allah and His Messenger love these two qualities, but they are from Allah. But he understood as well as all of the companions that most of our character, most of our software, most of our programming is customized by us, by what we install from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. And so how do we transfer then that knowledge which we have in our conscious mind into our subconscious mind? Say you want to install patience. You want to install patience. You have heard of all of the virtues of patience. The verses regarding patience. إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Indeed, the patient are compensed and recompensed with reward without any account. No account, without limit. All of the khutab that you have heard over the years on patience, how do you then now install it? Well, it is not by virtue of just learning its benefits, learning of the reward. There is a practical method, and this practical method, dear brothers and sisters, is not some new age method. Let me just get that straight. There is no new age method. This is the prophetic method, the Muhammadan method, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Because he said, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. Indeed, knowledge is by learning. You want to attain knowledge? You have to learn. And you do not become knowledgeable until you learn again and again and again and again. وَإِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ بِالتَّحَلُّمِ. That how do you develop hilm, forbearance and clemency and patience? بالتحلم. You have to cultivate it, to perform it again and again and again. And so when a situation arises and you are rubbed up the wrong way, when somebody triggers you, when somebody angers you, when somebody irritates you, then you, at that moment, you practice patience. And it will be difficult only during the situation. You will not have developed it immediately. Oh, I was patient that one time, now I'm a patient person. No, it is to repeat the same practice again and again and again and again until at some point, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us all different. At some point, that quality that you have practiced will make its way from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. It will become installed in you to the extent that it becomes your character. It becomes natural to you. It is what you do without thought, without having to deliberate, without having to debate. Shall I be patient or shall I shout back? Shall I swear back? Shall I hit them back? Or it is by practice. It is not by listening to a lecture. We've all heard every lecture you can imagine. But what about the installation? And so the technique is very clear. The technique is very clear. And this, dear brothers and sisters, this is the process of tazkiyah. Tazkiyah, which is the purification. Tazkiyah has two meanings. Tazkiyah is not that you isolate yourself into dhikr and nothing but. Tazkiyah is to purify and then to grow. To purify and to grow. And so to purify yourself, as we will come onto in a moment, to remove and to uninstall the evil software, the vices. And growth is to install within yourself all of these good qualities. And this requires mujahada, which we spoke about in the past. It requires effort. It has to be forced. It has to take some it takes some work. We've heard of saintly people who performed mujahada for 2 years and 5 years and 20 years. What were they doing? It was this. It was resisting 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 over and over again any bad qualities that they have, they discover, they uninstall. And any good quality, they install it by repeating it again and again and again. This is the practical method of tazkiyah. And so, let's say you want to install generosity. Everybody knows that generosity is something that is good. Everybody wants to become generous. Nobody wants to be stingy. But it doesn't matter what you like. What is the program that is installed, that is running you? If the program is stinginess, read every book on generosity. You will never become generous until you start to force yourself to give. And do you give once or twice or 10 times? No, you give again and again and again and again until you continue to give without thought. So there's no end to it. It's not a tick sheet exercise. This is installing prophetic Muhammadan qualities into you. How do you think that is done? By listening to a 10-part series on YouTube. These are thirst builders. They will encourage you. They will motivate you. They will give you that knowledge. But that knowledge now needs to be installed. And the installation process requires that repetition again and again. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam was known before the Risala, before the message, as a Siddiq. Or a Sadiq rather, a Sadiq al-Amin, a Sadiq, the most honest. And is it because he practiced Sidq once, honesty once? It's because he practiced it again and again. And yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that way. But he is a blueprint of perfection. He's the template that we follow. And so, if you want to become a truthful person, then you practice Sidq again and again. And hence the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, alaykum bis-sidqi fa inna as-sidqa yahdi ila al-birr. Adhere, follow, practice sidq, honesty, truthfulness. Because it attains, it makes you gain piety. وَإِنَّ الْبِرَّ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. And piety guides to paradise. وَمَا يَزَالُ الرَّجُلُ يَصْدُقُ وَيَتَحَرَّى الصِّدْقَ حَتَّى يُكْتَبَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ صِدِّيقًا. And the man will continue to be truthful. And to يَتَحَرَّى الصِّدْقَ, meaning he will look for opportunities and be conscious of the opportunities where he can be truthful until he is recorded with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a Siddiq. As a Siddiq. To be characterized with that same quality as Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, which is the level beneath nubuwwah, beneath prophethood. But it requires repetition. And this app by app, quality by quality installation is more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the grand gestures of worship which we perform seasonally. Hence the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, أَحَبُّ الْأَعْمَالِ إِلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلْ. Our mother Aisha radiallahu anha, she said that the most beloved, she reports a hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in which he said, the most beloved deeds to Allah are the most consistent ones, even if they are small. And what else are we talking about except small but consistent deeds? وَكَانَتْ عَائِشَةُ إِذَا عَمِلَتِ الْعَمَلَ لَزِمَتْهُ. And Aisha radiallahu anha, if she performed a good deed, she would persist in it. She would do it consistently. Until when? What was the objective? Until it became installed into her subconscious and became part of her operating system, the software which runs the program. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who translate and install their knowledge into action, and not be of those where their knowledge is an excuse against them on the day of judgment, on a day when no wealth and no children will be of any avail except the one who comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala بقلب سليم, with a sound heart. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على الحبيب المصطفى وبعد. Dear brothers and sisters, we spoke about installing. Now uninstalling from your subconscious the evil shaitanic vices, those qualities which are running the program, which go against the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which go against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do we remove them? Well, number one, they can only be removed the same way they were installed in the first place? Through repetition, resistance and repetition. Because nobody is born a compulsive liar. Now the continuation of the hadith before last, which we mentioned about sidq, the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَالْكَذِبِ فَإِنَّ الْكَذِبَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ. And he said, avoid and refrain and remain away from lying, because it causes and it leads to fujur, to rebellion, and rebellion leads to the hellfire. وَمَا يَزَالُ الرَّجُلُ يَكْذِبُ وَيَتَحَرَّى الْكَذِبَ حَتَّى يُكْتَبَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَذَّابًا. And a man will continue to lie and seek out to lie, seek out opportunities to lie, until he is recorded with Allah as a liar. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. But he wasn't born that way. He lied again and again, got away with it, then lied again, then got away with it, then lied again, until he installed that program into himself. So how do you uninstall it then? How do you uninstall it? 2 words. Commit them to memory, dear brothers and sisters, because I may never say them again. To resist and to repeat. To resist and to repeat. To resist and to repeat. You have a problem with looking at women. You are accustomed to extending the first glance, or to look again the second time, both of which are deliberate, meaning that you are accountable for them. And so what do you do to uninstall this vice? You have to resist. And that resistance will be difficult in the moment, meaning that that difficulty will not last. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel alien to you, but just for the few seconds. And then what? Then you have added a repetition. If you've never exercised, what happens? The moment you lift a weight, the moment you run, the moment you cycle, you feel tired. But will you remain tired the more you exercise? No, the more you exercise, the more you condition and you strengthen yourself. And the spiritual muscles are exactly the same. If you lift a weight and say, oh, that's heavy, and you drop it, you're never going to grow that muscle. And so you have to repeat what? Every young man over here knows. Reps. What are reps? Repetitions. What is the exercise you're doing? Resistance training. So you need to resist and repeat until you build your muscle. Until you build your spiritual muscle, you must resist and you must repeat. But if you say, I can't do it. I'm destined for this. Then know that you have handed over the greatest power Allah Ta'ala has given you to the shaitan. Do not blame the shaitan and do not blame the nafs. Because the shaitan himself has absolved himself of all responsibility. And Allah, out of His mercy, He narrates for us His lecture, His khutbah that He will give in hellfire. The one khutbah Iblis will give in hellfire, as soon as everyone is put in, then a mimbar, a pulpit of fire will be erected. And what will he say? Allah has told us what He will say. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told us what He will say. وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعْدَ الْحَقِّ وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. Indeed, Allah promised you the promise of truth and I lied to you. I lied to you. وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. And I had no power over you. Meaning, who was the power with? The power was with you all of the time. You could have used that power to worship Allah, to obey His messenger, and to paint yourself in the color of the messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. Meaning, who has the sultan? I never had power over you. I never had authority over you. So you had power over yourself. What did He do? إِلَّا أَن دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. All I did is I suggested, I called, I whispered, I invited you, and you answered. فَلَا تَلُومُونِي. So do not blame me. وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. But blame yourself. Oh bro, I was just destined to be like this. I can't stop smoking weed. I can't stop smoking. I can't stop committing fraud. I can't stop committing zina. Where is your power? Allah has made you a lion and you act like a sheep. So this power, do not hand it over to the shaitan. You must recognize that you have a huge power within you, a huge potential. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the truth. وَقُلِ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. Say the truth is from your Lord. فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. You have mashi'ah, you have will, you have power. Whoever wills can believe, and whoever doesn't, and whoever wills can disbelieve. You have literally the power to say, I don't want to believe in Allah. That's your power. You don't think you have power to become a friend of Allah? So don't sell yourself short. Do not give over control, hand it over to the shaitan just like that, where he slaps you left and right and you're apparently helpless. Nobody is helpless, dear brothers and sisters, but you need to know this power that you have. Once you know, oh my God, I've got an arsenal, I've got all of this weaponry, then you start to use it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who realize their power, which He has granted us, and realize the potential to become His friends and His awliya. هذا وصلوا وسلموا على خير الأنام فإن الله أمركم بأمر بدأ به بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه ثم بكم أيها المؤمنون فقال جل من قائل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين وأعلي بفضلك كلمتي الحق والدين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزد لكم وأقم الصلاة